What's going on, everybody? This is Brandon Arroyo of Kent State's TV2, and I am here with New York Times bestseller, 10-time multi-platinum, touring the country right now, Ron Tater Salad White. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you?
Oh, man, I am fantastic. On this beautiful Ohio day, it's actually not snowing, which is about as much as we can ask. All right, I'm looking at your upcoming tour dates here. You got 2 in New York, then you're heading down to Panama City, doing a couple shows in Florida, and then you got to make that long trip back up to Ohio. How hard is it going to be for you to make that trip back up north after being in Florida?
That sounds like bad routing. You know what? It's kind of amazing how much we work the north in the winter. But we sure do. And how this routing got back put together, I have no idea. But it'll be no problem at all because I'll fly up there and I'll send my bus up there. And by the time I get there, my bus will already be there, and no problem.
All right. Well, you do a lot of tours, and 136 cities last year. What is your favorite part about touring?
But you know what? I still, at 54 years old, like nothing better than doing a live show. I mean, it's a fun thing to do for a living. And if it becomes unfun, I guess I'll quit doing it. But I still love to walk on stage. And now it's just these really nice theaters, and they're my fans, and it's just I still work very hard at this craft, and I mean I write every day, write something, and I do as many sets as I can, and open mic nights, and to stay sharp, but it's just the shows. If it wasn't for the shows, I'd stay home.
What keeps you motivated for each show? I know you get to see the fans, but what's going through your mind before you hit the stage?
Oh, well, you know what? It could be anything because I'm so prepared to do what I'm about to do that it takes no effort at all.
Yeah.
The crowds, they anticipate a good show, but they have no idea what this show's like, and I know I'm going to go out there and gut punch them for an hour. They will leave feeling gut punched, and so I know that's going to happen, and so but one thing I do is I take my first drink of the day on stage with me. Look forward to that. I also get to have a night, and I smoke my first cigar of the day on stage. So I got a great cigar going. I got a great glass of scotch, and then I get to go do what I love to do. My job is better than your job. I can sing that song to anybody.
You're definitely living the dream. I don't think anybody can doubt that. And that's actually going to lead us into our first web question from Ryan in Columbus. Are you able to tell us the secret of what type of scotch you drink?
It's normally the 18-year-old Macallan.
Okay.
Which is the kind of scotch people drink that are going to die penniless. By the way.
All right. And all right. Well, after that, I really want to touch on something that you recently just accomplished, which I think is fantastic. And Salute to the Troops, which just aired on CMT March 12th. Are you able to tell us a little bit about what it meant to you to be able to perform for the Armed Forces Foundation, and a little bit about what exactly that show was?
Well, my affiliation with the Armed Forces Foundation goes back a few years, and I met them through Blue Collar. We used to tour Walter Reed, and that's how I met them. And so we started doing this fundraiser every year at the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C., and so I would go in and go visit the troops at Walter Reed, and then I'd have a barbecue for whoever had enough pain pills to get there.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys are in rehab, and they're pretty much, they got their new legs, and they've learned how to bounce around on them, and they're in pretty good spirits. And so it's a big mix of that, and then we'd go do 2 shows at night. Same thing. I'd have friends come out and help me with it, and then we give the proceeds to Armed Forces Foundation, and they were just as happy as they could be. But my great friends over at CMT said, hey, listen, why don't we make it bigger? Why don't we raise more money? And so now with their help, it's really, I was over here celebrating by myself, smoking a great cigar.
There you go.
Just got the numbers on the special. They were through the roof. But, yeah, it's fun. We anytime that we can stop by a base and, I feel like I do pathetically little, but I do what I do. So,
yes, sir.
it's very moving to me, and if you walk through Walter Reed and you talk to these guys and girls, it just they get a big place in your heart.
Yeah.
And you think, God, there's got to be something, that we can do.
Coming up to Kent State, not Kent State, but you're coming up to Canton here in the next couple of months. You're going to make 2 stops in Northern Ohio, 3 shows. 2 of them are going to have VIP tickets available, and I got to know, how much does it mean to you to be able to meet the fans, and have you had any crazy experiences with fans thus far?
Yeah, I had a guy walk on stage in his underwear in Oxnard, California.
Oh, my goodness.
And he walked, so he came around behind stage and walked out, and the crowd started reacting, and I didn't know what they were reacting to, and this guy's standing there in his underwear, and so I had to cajole him until my Cracker Jack staff realized that this wasn't what I wanted to be happening.
Yeah.
He got to go to jail, so but that's okay. I've been to jail. It's not that bad.
I gotta ask you, man, what was going through your mind when you first realized that there was a grown man in his underpants standing on stage with you?
I was, I'm rarely at a loss for words, and but he was actually, he had on novelty underwear that he invented, and he was trying to get publicity for his company.
Really?
Had like 6 leg holes in them, so you found instead of changing them.
Yeah.
It was just a joke, I guess, but it was the wrong place to do the joke. And so, but, I've done so many live shows, I'm pretty unflappable. I'll figure it out, and I'll figure out how to get back on track and get this guy headed where he needs to go.
What would your advice for Charlie Sheen be right now? Just not because of the medical marijuana, but just as a person who's been in the spotlight, just to keep him off of his idea of what's winning right now.
I would suggest that he keep boffing the porn stars. That's what I would do. I'd give him a big high five on that one.
Winning.
100%. We practice non-judgment over in my camp because can't get me throwing stones in the house I live in.
All right. Well, all right. So you did just do the live show, and a lot of your stuff has been on the edgier side. What do you try to tailor back your show a little bit when you know you're going to be on TV, or are you just pushing out 100% Ron? And to their credit, CMT said, "Don't hold back. We'll bleep it." And so I'm like, all right, well, that's what I'm going to do. But quite frankly, I couldn't do it another way because my fans just said that's not what they're used to from me. Yeah.
And if I start changing who I am to fit something else, then I'm done.
I hear you. All right. Well, the ratings were very well for CMT, and that's not something that you are something new to you. Comedy Central, you had the highest rated movie channel in history when they first released the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Your multi-platinum CD DVD went 2.5 million. They call me Tater Salad. Just what does that mean to you to know that now, after all of these years of hard work, that it is paid off and you are here, you have arrived? Well,
it's fun to have my name included with people I've been fans of for a long time, and I do, and I'm very, very grateful to have an established niche in this wonderful business. And so it's a combination of dumb luck and something that I put the effort into for a long time. I've done this for over a quarter of a century.
Yes, sir. I've heard the stories. Like I said, I heard the stories about you traveling in your pickup truck, going show to show. That had to have been some crazy times for you as well. Any crazy stories from the beginning days?
One of the guys that was in the CMT thing is a guy named Alex Ramundo.
Yeah.
And the first day that I walked into a comedy club ever, I was going to do an open mic night. I had 4 minutes of material. I was nervous. I went straight to the bar and ordered a beer and a shot of tequila. Alex Ramundo handed me that beer and that shot of tequila.
No kidding.
Yeah, so he was the bartender, obviously, and then he started doing stand-up, I guess 6 months later, and then about 3 years into open mic and stuff, we started touring together, and so he was in the truck with me too.
Yeah.
And we would drive 800 miles to do, I'd make $200 and he'd make $100, and it was, and we couldn't have had more fun if we had a clown and a bunch of balloons.
Who did you look up to while you were growing up and first coming through the your shows?
Well, my favorite comics when I was a kid were, we had old stuff. We had Bob Newhart, we had Andy Griffith, which were some great old comedy albums, and some Lenny Bruce, but not very much of it because not very much was ever available. And but I also loved Flip Wilson and Bill Cosby and George Carlin, especially George. Steve Martin. When I got a little bit older, I was so original that nobody could ever duplicate what Martin did.
Absolutely.
Pryor and Kinnison and Hicks. Really, probably the biggest influence was probably Bill Hicks.
Yeah. Definitely some innovators, too, when you were going through that list. Definitely some innovators in comedy right there.
Well, they're basically, that's a great way to put it, because in my opinion, there are two kinds of comedians, and one kind builds bridges, and the other kind walks across those bridges.
Yes, sir.
I'm a very good bridge walker.
There you go. I mean, you guys brought your own new style of comedy, though, when you had Blue Collar, when you had that tour. That was very innovative in my eyes, anyway. And you guys definitely made a niche for yourself with that movie for sure. Advice, any that you would have to college comedians coming up right now?
Advice that I would have?
Yes, sir.
Be true to your nature, whatever it is. That's what's hard to do too, is to learn it, learn how to not pretend, learn how to be exactly who you are, and that's the common denominator. The only one too, by the way.
Yeah.
All those people that I just mentioned, including Jeff Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy, those people are all true to their nature for the most part. I mean, I'm Ron White before I walk on stage. I'm Ron White when I'm on stage. I'm Ron White when I walk off stage. And that's what's original about me, is that I am me, and nobody else can do that. And so, but that's the most important thing, is that you're true to who you are, because if you try to pretend, you'll get found out, and you can't go, I got to be like that guy because he's being successful. No, you got to learn about you. It takes a long time. It's art, and art does not come easy. And but that's the basic thing, is to keep your eye on you and your nature, and that's the best advice I could give you.
Absolutely, and in entertainment, it is very difficult to stay true to yourself, and definitely you have something that a type of comedy that you really can't find anywhere else, and I mean, Tater Salad is going to go down in infamy for sure. We are a college TV station. I don't know if you follow March Madness at all, but if you had to pick one college to win it all, who would it be for you?
Oh God, I guess I guess Duke. I guess, I don't know.
There you go.
But that's we've been having fun watching it. I really can't. I'm not an expert on college basketball, but I do enjoy it, and but we've been Duke fans for a long time because that's where Foxworthy's brother went to school, and since I didn't really go to school, I have to adopt somebody else. So if it's not University of Texas or a Texas team, I'm usually pulling for Duke.
Obviously, you still have connections with Alex Raimundo. Do you stay in touch very much with the guys from Blue Collar?
Oh, absolutely. We're still very good friends. They tour without me, which is just something that we all agreed on. And
yeah.
And I wish him the best of luck. I owe Jeff everything. I don't know if my career would be where it is if he hadn't believed. And it was his goal for a long time to make me a famous comedian, and he truly sucks at it because it took him